But let's just focus on the main two. What Larry was saying, which is, how can you, as an employee, as an American citizen, as somebody who is a tax-paying American citizen who has sacrificed a large portion of your life to work for this organization, to become a professional and the top of your game, how can you plan to take care of your family, to pay for your house, whatever, right? To do your job when they can't even make up their mind, when they keep changing the goalposts from one week to another about what's about to happen. It just doesn't make any sense. And I'm disappointed, to be honest with you. I'm disappointed as an American, as a veteran, as somebody who loves this country. I'm just disappointed that it's just not being done well. If your goal was to reduce the force, there's a way to do that in a way that doesn't hurt American citizens, right? There's a way to do it effectively. If your goal is to make sure people come back to work in the office, okay, but there's a way to do it effectively that's not gonna cause confusion, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's almost like they're just coming up with stuff off the top of their head and then implementing it, and then figuring out what's going to happen after that, because that's what they and these are people who that's how they run their businesses, and it's worked out for them because they have a huge windfall. They have a huge windfall. They can always, if they lose $1 billion, right? They lose $1 billion in stock or whatever. They have banks that'll just bail them out. But normal people don't have that. Normal people don't have a bank or an angel investor that's going to come out of nowhere and give them $100,000 so that they can continue to do whatever, take these crazy risks, so it's not making any sense what they're doing. It's just not making any sense, and the way they're doing it is what I have the most problem with. I think and then even the global stuff they're doing, I'm just like, what are the hell are they doing? What are you doing, bro? Like, Larry says, I remember that the Texas electrical grid failure, it was a nightmare. Loss of lives for no reason. Yeah, people were freezing to death. And none of that had to happen because the electricity went out, and it was because they ignored. If you look at the history of it, what really happened was they had an assessment years early, like, I don't know, 6, 7, 10 years early. Before that storm happened, up to 10 years earlier, they had an assessment that was done. And what happened was the Texas leadership ignored it and said, we're not going to spend money on that because we don't, and then their windmills went out. And then instead of saying, you know what, we should have fixed those windmills, they started blaming, well, we shouldn't have windmills anyway. That's what they said. They're like, oh, well, we shouldn't have. The problem is we shouldn't have had. It's like, man, how dumb are these people? Like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't even think it's dumb. I just think it's people just blaming each other because their ego. I think it's their ego. I don't think they're just dumb. They don't want to admit that they're wrong. And then sometimes you have to, as a leader, if you're a legit leader, sometimes you're wrong. You got to go up there and say, look, I made a mistake. You know what? Let's readjust. Let's learn from our mistake and keep going forward. And instead, they see that as a sign of weakness, so they won't admit that they're wrong. An assessment is designed to have transparency that lets you see those mistakes, to see what's going on, plain as day, so that everyone can see it. So all of us as a group, as an organization, can say, okay, let's fix this. This is messed up. We didn't do this correctly. Maybe for the last couple years, last couple times we had this assessment, it's messed up. Now let's document properly. Let's fix this thing, that kind of thing. And it just doesn't make any sense when they ignore problems or pass the buck to someone else or blame other people and stuff. It just doesn't fix any problems.